daughter and your husband.
Let's go.
We're on the last episode before the season finale tonight. Aloha! Welcome to Cyntillating Reviews, and today we will be reviewing episode 12 of the hit DC Universe original, Stargirl. Now, I don't know how I feel about this episode. I mean, we were doing so well, and then to me, all of a sudden, we just kind of went downhill. I didn't feel really excited for it, but I don't know. I mean, it was good, and we covered the topics that were covered, and I'm pretty pleased with that, but I just didn't feel excited this time. This episode will be in the style of a podcast, so if you want to minimize this video while doing other things while listening to me, that is totally fine. I won't be offended. I know this episode was released last week, but I still have to put the disclaimer out of spoiler alert is now in effect. We first start this episode just kind of recapping how everything started from the beginning all the way up to now. 11 hours remain until the satellite activates, which will hypnotize half of the United States. Brainwave explains to Icicle and to us as the audience with the IJA's plan, where each of the villains will take on their own plans, the plans in the field that they specialize in. For an example, the gambler, he's a hacker, so he's going to work on to make sure that nobody gets into the system. So on and so forth like that. Courtney and her family are getting ready to leave as Pat brings Mike to the pit as the two are having a little argument. I think Pat was ready to make the reveal of Stripe to Mike until Mike just got upset. Obviously, he feels like he's being left out. Mike leaves the scene but enters Crusher with a bat in hand. And this is where Crusher, aka Sportsmaster, reveals to Pat that he knows about the giant robot. Back at Courtney's home, Huntress is also there, attacking Courtney's mother. Before Huntress can make the last blow, we see Courtney with her staff interfering with the fight. This is where we then get a fight scene between Pat and Sportsmaster and Courtney and Barbara fighting Tigress. Before there could be a last blow to Pat, Mike appears using a driller to drill into Sportsmaster's side just to distract him. Pat recovers and knocks Crusher out. This is where Pat introduces Mike to Stripe. At the American Dream building, Icicle is meeting with his parents. They ask if Cameron, Icicle's son, should know the truth as this is his birthright. Icicle gets a phone call telling him that there are complications in the plan. This is where he calls the fiddler, Principal Bowen. The fiddler walks into her office at the school and sees that Isaac, her son, is waiting for her. Isaac explains that someone tore his jacket and just kind of did like the whole bullying thing. And this is the scene where, while Isaac feels like he can get away with things because he's the principal's son, others are standing up to Isaac. Principal Bowen asks Isaac what his father did because he was in band too. She then explains to him that his father took a bow of the violin and struck it down the student's ears. Mom Award of the Year? The family makes it to the cabin. Beth, Rick, and Yolanda are already waiting for her. In addition, janitor Justin makes his appearance along with Stripe, all together preparing for the battle. Brainwave meets Cindy down in the hideout underground and told her that, in a plain nutshell, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have to kill my son. Cindy fires back as if he wasn't in a coma, none of this that was going on would not have happened. Brainwave tells her the honest truth that all she is a failed experiment to Dr. Ito. He shuts the door blind, shutting her out as Dr. Ito and Brainwave say that they are ready for testing. The two walk in the room as they see satellites everywhere in this room with 8 hours left to go before the satellite activates. They walk on in a room where, to me, it kind of looks like that Solo room where there's nothing but a platform in the middle of the room and a chair on that platform. I'm getting an X-Men vibe. Brainwave sits in the chair as Dr. Ito straps him in, explaining that there is a risk of performing the plan that could work or fail. Brainwave understands this and he is moving forward with the experiment. After the trial of testing the machine, Brainwave says that he heard millions of people's voices and said that the plan will work with 8 hours left before the takeover. Back at the cabin, Beth and Dr. Midnight discuss that Pat was correct that there has been an increase of electrical activity in Blue Valley and believes that his powers increased after Henry Jr. died because of an energy release which Brainwave absorbed. Beth tries to console Yolanda, but she says there's nothing she can do about it, which appears as a lie detected in Dr. Midnight's goggles as she walks away. Janitor Justin makes his way up the stairs as he sees Rick working on his father's journal. Rick believes that his mother and father were killed by Solomon Grundy because of what his father found. Rick says that his father, who I should remind everybody that his name is Rex Tyler, aka Our Man, found a secret and wrote it in the journal, but Rick is still struggling uncovering that secret. Justin takes a look at the journal with Rick, and there's an equation that has a missing number, and they've tried with everything on how they could solve this equation, but no luck. Courtney and Mike are outside saying that Courtney is lucky that she's safe with the staff and how things would have been like if he had the staff instead of her. Mike tries his hand on the staff, but of course it doesn't respond to him the way that it does with Courtney, and he wishes he could contribute to the JSA. I hope in season 2 comes along that we can see Mike getting more involved with the JSA, whether it could be like diagnostics technician or even being out in the field as a hero himself. I don't think Pat would allow that, but maybe just something kind of like in the background, kind of like what Beth does. My thought, he could maybe have an involvement with the genie pen, or God forbid, that Green Lantern battery that was glowing previously a few episodes ago. I can only say the reason why it glowed in the first place was because of Mike. It didn't make sense for it to glow for Courtney. It didn't make sense to glow for Pat. There was nobody outside the house for it to glow. It doesn't make sense for even Barbara. I can only think of maybe Mike. Tigress and Sportsmaster are resting at Courtney's home where they heard a click of a door open, revealing Principal Bowen walking in. Principal Bowen tells the pair that Jordan sent her and makes sure that they will not miss the second time, and she throws insults to them, worrying about the safety of Artemis, Tigress and Sportsmaster's daughter, and how she will turn out like her mother. Tigress brings out her crossbow, firing at Principal Bowen right in the chest, and can we say the curtain has fallen for Principal Bowen? I guess I'll discuss a little bit more about that later on why I'm a little peeved with that scene. At the cabin, Pat and Barbara talk as he tells her the truth on why he didn't tell her any of this information before they got married. Barbara shakes her head as she wants her and Pat to be okay. Frustrated with not finding the answer, Rick throws the journal to the wall. Pat steps in and picks up the journal in hopes of finding the right number. A light bulb clicks in Rick's mind as he uses the example of the 1966 Mustang as the missing number. I'm just in an astonishment as much as Pat is on how Rick was able to figure out that formula. Kind of wish we talked about how he solved the formula, but that's going to be a 2-year special, so moving on. Rick is now taking the lead explaining exactly what the formula is. He has Beth use the goggles to scan the page, and Rick explains that the formula is actually coordinates of a map to the underground tunnels that his father discovered. The hologram appears with a map at the tunnel entrances where it includes the IJA meeting room, and right in the center is the room where they are building the satellite. Beth relays the information to everyone given to her by Dr. Midnight, a machine he believes that they built called a synaptic amplifier, which is meant to transmit brainwaves. They make their plans on where to enter, and Barbara says that she wants to go along with them as she makes a valid point, as if there was an issue, she knows the American Dream building. I love that little scene that Mike asks what his job is, and Pat says his job is the most important ever, to watch the dog. I don't know if he was given maybe like sarcasm where he's like, yeah, perfect, I'm ready for this, let's go do this, or he was just like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. Time is of the essence for our heroes. Stargirl and Stripe enter through the tunnels, Rick, Yolanda, and Justin enter from Cindy's home, and Beth and Barbara enter through the American Dream building. And can I just say, I love New Kids on the Block. I may be a millennial, but at least I know how a rotary phone works and what an 8-track is. But moving on. Beth makes it through the computer and she can hear the groups in the tunnel. Beth worries about keeping contact because last time she was down in the tunnels, she lost all contact. Suddenly, a time appears with 35 minutes and a manifesto created by the IJA for the broadcast with the title of Taking Over Civilians by the name of New Constitution. And this manifesto did seem reasonable. They want to fight against global warming, embrace natural powers such as solar and wind, and eliminate the term of discrimination and universal health care. That sounds way too dream come true-ish like. The process will take 30 minutes, but afterwards it will be permanent, and this affects full developed minds, meaning adults. Dr. Midnight adds in that there is usually a catch for something like this. Here is the catch. The catch: people will fight hard against the reprogramming process, and if they do, their brains will shut down, killing them. They made the percentage of 25% of the target audience will fight against this process. The goal target is 100 million people. Making a surprise entrance over the PA is Sharp, aka the Gambler. Asking who she is, Dr. Midnight adds in that Beth is Dr. Midnight. Almost spitting my drink out at the realization they believe they had 30 minutes until the satellite activates. Wrong! The plan actually begins at the 30-minute mark. It's already begun, as it shows proof that Pat, Barbara, and Justin are all under the control of Brainwave. We end this scene suddenly where Stripe is under his own control as it forms a fist and it aims to strike at Stargirl. Cue end credits. This is the end of Stargirl episode 12. I wasn't hyped up for it. I got hyped for it, but it just really didn't deliver on how I was hoping it would. So I was a little disappointed with that. And with the scene of Principal Bowen, I kind of wish we did see more of what she could do to the JSA and how her powers of the Fiddler and how her powers as the Fiddler could like hypnotize the JSA. I'm just kind of a little sad that we didn't really cover much with Bowen and the Fiddler power, but okay, I mean, I guess we kind of have an idea on what the Fiddler does, as it was demonstrated in previous episodes where she hypnotized one of the truck drivers and just that. I mean, that's probably all that the Fiddler does. If there's more on the Fiddler, let me know in the comments below, but honestly, I think that's the end of the Fiddler. We're not going to see any more of the Fiddler. On most of the questions that I had previously, I've already gotten my answers, and I kind of discussed them already in the last episodes. So this episode really didn't take me bit par, unlike the previous episodes. Ranking this episode from 0 to 5 stars, I have to give Stargirl episode 12 a 3 out of 5. I was a little disappointed. We're coming up to the season finale tonight, and I didn't really want to have this dull feeling getting ready for something as we're getting close to the finale. So hopefully the finale will change. Hopefully we'll get the biggest jaw drop cliffhanger while we are anticipating season 2. But that is it for Let's Review DC's original Stargirl episode 12. Thank you guys so much for stopping in and checking out my review. I know I'm totally late. Tomorrow is gonna be different. I don't know why the airtime for new episodes have to be 11 o'clock p.m. at night. That doesn't make any sense to me. So my goal is to see this tomorrow and hopefully get it uploaded tomorrow evening. That's going to be my main goal here. But please like this video, comment below on what you think is going to happen in the season finale. If you want to be notified for any of the personal Stargirl videos, click that bell to be notified for personal videos or all of my videos if you want to see all of my content. Subscribe to see more of my content and weird things that might be coming in later in this channel. Help me grow Cyntillating reviews. I want to see something come out of this. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you tomorrow for the season finale of Stargirl. Our simplest prevention is our biggest protection. Take care of yourselves and others as you practice social distancing, washing hands, and staying at home. Let's get better by starting to make our world better to reduce the spread of COVID-19. See you later on another day.